Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Kevin, I understand the frustration of feeling stuck in your career after 8 years. Especially when you have significant financial responsibilities that make change feel risky. Nevertheless, staying in an unfulfilling position indefinitely can also pose risks to your long-term earning potential and job satisfaction. First and foremost, consider that your 8 years of experience have likely made you more valuable in the job market than when you started, potentially qualifying you for higher-level positions with better compensation. Furthermore, many career transitions can be managed strategically to minimize financial risk while pursuing advancement opportunities. Additionally, you might explore internal advancement within your current company, skill development that makes you more promotable, or gradual transitions that don't require immediate income reduction. Moreover, networking within your industry could reveal opportunities you haven't considered, and many employers respect candidates who show loyalty and stability through long tenure at previous positions. Although your mortgage and family responsibilities are legitimate constraints, consider whether remaining in an unsatisfying job might eventually impact your performance and job security anyway. Consequently, I'd recommend starting with low-risk career development activities like updating your resume, researching salary ranges in your field, and having informal conversations with contacts in other companies. Additionally, you could pursue relevant certifications or training during evenings or weekends to make yourself more competitive without leaving your current position. You might also consider speaking with your current employer about advancement opportunities, additional responsibilities, or professional development support that could improve your situation without requiring a job change. The key is taking gradual, strategic steps toward career growth rather than either staying completely static or making dramatic changes that jeopardize your financial stability. 2 years ago, I had to mediate a difficult conflict between my sister and my best friend after my sister borrowed money from my friend and failed to repay it on schedule. The situation became complicated because both relationships were important to me, and each person felt justified in their position while being hurt by the other's behavior. Furthermore, my sister was going through financial difficulties following a job loss, while my friend felt disrespected and taken advantage of by the delayed repayment. The conflict escalated when my friend made comments about my sister being irresponsible, and my sister accused my friend of being unsympathetic during a difficult period. Initially, I tried to stay neutral and avoid getting involved, hoping they would resolve the issue themselves. However, the tension was affecting my relationships with both of them and creating awkwardness during family gatherings and social events. Additionally, both parties began asking me to take sides or validate their perspectives, putting me in an uncomfortable position. To handle this situation, I arranged separate conversations with each person to understand their specific concerns and feelings without the other person present. Moreover, I acknowledged the valid aspects of each person's position, my friend's right to timely repayment and my sister's genuine financial hardship. While helping each understand the other's perspective, I then facilitated a direct conversation between them where I helped establish ground rules for respectful communication and encouraged them to focus on finding solutions rather than assigning blame. Consequently, they agreed on a modified repayment plan that worked within my sister's current budget while addressing my friend's concerns about being respected and communicated with properly. The mediation was successful, and both relationships were preserved. This experience taught me that effective mediation requires active listening, empathy for multiple perspectives, and helping people focus on practical solutions rather than emotional grievances. Most importantly, I learned that sometimes caring relationships require us to facilitate difficult conversations rather than avoiding conflict. This colorful illustration depicts a bustling urban street festival taking place on a weekend afternoon in the heart of a downtown district. The main thoroughfare has been temporarily closed to vehicle traffic, allowing pedestrians to freely wander between numerous vendor booths and entertainment stages that line both sides of the street. In the foreground, local artisans are displaying their handcrafted goods at small tents, including pottery, jewelry, and painted canvases, while curious shoppers examine the unique items and engage in conversations with the creators. Meanwhile, the aromatic scents from various food trucks create an enticing atmosphere, with vendors serving everything from gourmet tacos to fresh kettle corn and international cuisine. On the right side of the scene, a small stage hosts a folk music trio performing acoustic songs, drawing an appreciative crowd of listeners who are seated on portable chairs and blankets spread across the asphalt. Additionally, children can be seen enjoying face painting services and balloon animals provided by colorful, costumed entertainers. The background showcases the urban landscape with tall brick buildings and storefronts, some of which have opened their doors to participate in the festivities by offering special sales and demonstrations. Furthermore, string lights have been hung between lampposts, creating a festive canopy overhead despite the daytime setting. What makes this scene particularly vibrant is how it transforms an ordinary city street into a celebration of local culture, bringing together residents, small business owners, and visitors to create a sense of community pride and economic vitality. Initially, the street festival will continue attracting more visitors as word spreads about the local talent, performances, and diverse food offerings, whereas vendors will undoubtedly experience increased sales throughout the evening. Subsequently, the musicians on stage will likely invite audience participation through sing-alongs or dancing, while simultaneously, families will explore various food trucks offering everything from tacos to gourmet treats. Meanwhile, the art vendors will presumably engage customers in conversations about their creative processes and techniques, and consequently, several pieces might be sold to collectors and art enthusiasts. Furthermore, as twilight approaches, the string lights overhead will create an even more magical atmosphere, while children will beg their parents to stay longer for additional entertainment. Despite the growing crowds, the festival organizers will maintain order and ensure everyone's safety. Nevertheless, the celebratory mood will continue building as more performers take the stage. In addition, local residents watching from their balconies might eventually join the festivities on the street level. In conclusion, this vibrant community celebration will strengthen neighborhood bonds and showcase local culture, thereby creating lasting memories while supporting small businesses and artists in this charming downtown district. Jennifer, I understand your concern about making the immediate euthanasia decision, but I believe providing mobility aids and pain management represents the most compassionate approach to Max's current condition. First and foremost, Max is still showing interest in food, enjoys our company, and has moments of alertness and comfort that suggest his quality of life hasn't deteriorated to the point where ending his life is the only humane option. Furthermore, many dogs adapt remarkably well to mobility aids and can continue enjoying walks, social interaction, and other pleasures with appropriate support and pain management from our veterinarian. Additionally, choosing euthanasia now, while Max is still comfortable most of the time, might be premature and could deprive us of remaining good months or even years together if the mobility aids prove effective. Moreover, This approach allows us to monitor Max's condition closely and make end-of-life decisions based on his actual quality of life rather than our fears about potential future suffering. Although the ongoing care needs will be significant, consider how much joy and companionship Max has brought to our family over the years, and whether we owe him the opportunity to try supportive care before making irreversible decisions. Consequently, we can always reconsider euthanasia if Max shows signs of distress, pain that cannot be managed, or significant decline in his enjoyment of daily activities. Despite the emotional difficulty of watching Max age, many pet owners find that providing supportive care during this stage deepens their bond and creates meaningful final memories. Additionally, mobility aids and pain management often improve dogs' comfort levels significantly, potentially giving Max months of relatively pain-free life that he would miss if we choose euthanasia now. Don't you think Max deserves the chance to show us whether he can adapt to these changes before we make the final decision for him? Jennifer, while I appreciate your desire to provide Max with every possible supportive care, I believe focusing on quality of life assessment with veterinary guidance represents the most responsible and loving approach to his declining condition. First and foremost, Max's mobility issues are progressive and will only worsen over time, making the question not whether he will suffer, but how much suffering we're willing to allow him to experience. Furthermore, mobility aids and constant pain medication might extend Max's life but could also prolong his discomfort and reduce his dignity as an active, independent dog who has always taken pride in his physical abilities. Additionally, quality of life assessment allows us to make decisions based on Max's actual experience rather than our emotional attachment to keeping him alive as long as possible. Moreover, this approach respects Max's individual needs and condition rather than imposing solutions that might work for other dogs but may not be appropriate for his specific situation and personality. Although the timing decisions are difficult, working closely with our veterinarian ensures that we're making informed choices based on professional medical assessment rather than emotional hope or fear. Consequently, this approach allows us to provide Max with excellent end-of-life care while ensuring we don't cross the line into prolonging suffering for our own emotional comfort. Despite the immediate euthanasia option seeming more decisive, the quality of life approach gives us flexibility to respond to Max's changing condition while maintaining clear criteria for when intervention becomes necessary. The goal should be ensuring Max's remaining time is comfortable and dignified rather than simply maximizing the quantity of days he lives. Additionally, many veterinarians recommend this approach because it focuses on the animal's well-being rather than human emotions about loss. Don't you think monitoring Max's daily comfort and making decisions based on his actual quality of life is more loving than either extreme approach? Tyler, I need to discuss something important about your college plans. And I want you to understand that this conversation is one of the most difficult I've ever had to have. First and foremost, I'm incredibly proud of your acceptance to both schools and your academic achievements that made these opportunities possible. Nevertheless, our family situation requires me to ask you to consider attending the local community college rather than the university across the country. And I need to explain why this decision feels necessary. Furthermore, your grandmother has been an essential part of our family support system, helping with your younger sister's care and providing assistance that allows both your parents to work full-time and maintain our household. Additionally, Grandma is getting older and increasingly depends on family connections for her emotional well-being, especially since Grandpa passed away 2 years ago. Moreover, if you move across the country, Grandma has indicated she would feel too lonely and abandoned to continue helping our family, which would create significant financial and logistical challenges for everyone. Although I understand this feels like we're asking you to sacrifice your dreams for family obligations. Consider that community college can provide excellent education and transfer opportunities that might ultimately lead to the same career outcomes. Consequently, you could complete your first 2 years locally while saving money and maintaining family stability. Then potentially transfer to a 4-year university later when our family situation is more stable. Despite how unfair this might seem, family responsibilities sometimes require temporary compromises that benefit everyone in the long term. Additionally, many successful people have taken non-traditional educational paths that ultimately served them well. Would you be willing to consider this compromise and help me research transfer programs that could preserve your long-term educational goals? Mom, I need to talk with you about Tyler's college decision and your concerns about him moving away. First and foremost, I want you to know how much we appreciate everything you've done to support our family over the years, especially the help with childcare and household responsibilities that have been invaluable to us. Nevertheless, I believe we need to find ways to support Tyler's educational opportunity rather than asking him to sacrifice this chance for family convenience. Furthermore, Tyler has worked extremely hard throughout high school to earn acceptance to this prestigious university, and limiting his opportunities could affect his entire future career and earning potential. Additionally, as much as we value your help and companionship, using emotional pressure to influence Tyler's major life decisions isn't fair to him and could damage your relationship with him long-term if he feels forced to give up his dreams. Moreover, there are many ways we can address your concerns about loneliness and our need for family support that don't require Tyler to stay local. Although change is always challenging, consider that Tyler's success and happiness should be our primary concern, and supporting his educational goals demonstrates the kind of unconditional love that strengthens family bonds. Consequently, we could explore options like regular video calls with Tyler, planned visits during school breaks, or finding other ways to provide you with social connection and support that don't depend on limiting Tyler's opportunities. Additionally, many families successfully maintain close relationships despite geographic distance, and Tyler's gratitude for your support of his dreams could actually strengthen your relationship. Despite the temporary adjustment challenges, helping Tyler achieve his potential is an investment in our family's future and demonstrates the values of education and personal growth that you've always taught us. Don't you think Tyler deserves our support in pursuing his dreams, just as you supported our education and career goals when we were young? Requiring psychological evaluations before allowing people to have children would be fundamentally problematic and potentially dangerous, despite legitimate concerns about child welfare that motivate this idea. First and foremost, reproductive rights are considered basic human rights, and creating government barriers to parenthood raises serious constitutional and ethical concerns about state authority over intimate personal decisions. Furthermore, psychological evaluations are inherently subjective and culturally biased, potentially discriminating against people based on mental health status, socioeconomic background, education level, or cultural differences in parenting approaches. Additionally, many conditions that might appear concerning in evaluations, such as depression, anxiety, or past trauma, don't necessarily predict poor parenting, and some people with these experiences actually become more empathetic and effective parents. Moreover, implementing such a system would require massive government bureaucracy to evaluate millions of potential parents annually, creating enormous costs and logistical challenges while potentially delaying or preventing reproduction for administrative rather than legitimate reasons. Although child abuse and neglect are serious problems requiring intervention, the solution lies in improving support systems for families, enhancing child protective services, and providing better parenting education and mental health resources rather than preventing reproduction. Consequently, focusing on supporting existing parents through education, counseling, and community resources would be more effective and less invasive than screening potential parents before conception. Additionally, many parenting challenges arise from circumstances like poverty, lack of support, or unexpected life changes that no evaluation could predict. Nevertheless, I understand the desire to protect children from harm, which is why strengthening child welfare systems, improving access to mental health care, and providing comprehensive family support services represent more practical and ethical approaches to ensuring child safety and well-being. Mike, I need your expert opinion on the most unusual toy I just found at Wonder World Toys. While shopping with Jenny for her birthday present, I discovered this incredible hybrid creation that combines a traditional rocking horse with a vintage car design. Picture this. It has the classic wooden rocking base that you'd expect from a rocking horse. But instead of a horse, children sit in what looks like a 1950s convertible complete with a steering wheel, dashboard, and even tiny working headlights. What makes this absolutely fascinating is how the designers have maintained the gentle rocking motion while incorporating realistic car features like chrome bumpers, white wall tires, and an authentic-looking gear shift. Furthermore, when kids rock back and forth, the car actually makes realistic engine sounds and the radio plays classic music from the era. Not only does it encourage imaginative play, but the craftsmanship is exceptional with hand-painted details and genuine leather seats scaled down for children. Since the store prohibits photography to protect their exclusive designs, I can't show you pictures. But trust me when I say this piece is absolutely remarkable, given your expertise in collectible and unique toys. Plus the fact that Jenny loves both cars and anything that rocks or swings. I'm wondering if this might be the perfect birthday gift. However, considering the price point and storage space it would require, I wanted to get your thoughts before making this decision. What do you think about this car rocking horse combination?